Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Anissa Kurniati with NPM G1A019081. My research is entitled Android-based educational game development using text machine algorithm and Astar as media introduction and learning of vectorial based inclusivity. With the main supervisor, Mrs. Insinyur Ari Patricia, ST, FTH, PhD, IPP, and co-supervisor Tiara Eka Putri, ST, MCOM.
In today's digital age, children are captivated by mobile devices, but traditional learning often fails to engage them. Indonesia faces a critical challenge. Our youth are losing connection with our rich cultural heritage. Introducing an innovative solution, an Android-based adventure game that brings Bengkulu's history to life. Through immersive gameplay, students explore ancient sites, solve historical puzzles, and uncover fascinating stories. Each level combines entertainment with education, making history engaging and unforgettable for young learners. This innovation benefits academics, enriches knowledge, and inspires the next generation to preserve our cultural treasures. Join us in bridging the gap between technology and tradition, one adventure at a time.
Imagine transforming history education through interactive technology. Our research created a groundbreaking learning game for Bengkulu. Using a multi-stage model, we combined literature study, observation, and cutting-edge algorithms like FSM and A for intelligent gameplay.
This Android game makes learning Bengkulu history exciting. The challenges are perfectly matched to our age and really make me think.
Rigorous alpha testing and usability trials ensured the game was both educational and engaging for students of all levels. The results were remarkable. Pre- and post-test comparisons showed significant improvement in historical knowledge retention.
Tired of boring history lessons? What if learning could be as engaging as gaming? This Android game uses finite state machine algorithms for lifelike NPC behavior, creating dynamic historical interactions. A-star algorithms ensure intelligent navigation, making every learning journey smooth and purposeful. In testing, students using the game scored an average of 82.75 compared to 76.67 with traditional methods. With a significance value of 0.01, this isn't just fun, it's proven effective education technology, transforming how we learn history. One algorithm, one student, one discovery at a time.
This proven learning media revolutionizes how we teach Bengkulu history, making education interactive, effective, and unforgettable.
That's all of my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Brian Trisaputra, NPM G1A019083. The title of my research is Implementation of Fuzzy Logic with the Tsukamoto method in system for determining chlorine dosage in swimming pool. This case study at Grand Resort Hotel was supervised by Mr. Pani Paradi Kostera, SCOM MT, and Mrs. Nista Ramadhani, MCOM.
Clean and safe swimming pool water is cornerstone of any great resort experience, but behind the scene, maintaining that perfect balance is complex task. The key lies in using the right amount of chlorine. Too little and the water become unsafe. Too much and it can cause discomfort to swimmer. So how do we determine the perfect dose? My final project thesis addressed this exact challenge. The title of my research is Implementation of Fuzzy Tsukamoto Logic in a System for Determining Chlorine Dosage in Swimming Pool. A case study in Grand Resort Hotel. Traditionally, dosage chlorine relies heavily on manual testing and expert estimation to inconsistent and potential human error. My research proposed an intelligent solution using Fuzzy Tsukamoto logic. Why fuzzy logic? because determining chlorine dosage isn't simple. This can lead it's full of uncertainty. For example, water can be slightly cloudy or very alkaline. These are fuzzy, imprecise terms that humans understand naturally. The fuzzy Tsukamoto method intelligently processes this input through a set of expert-defined rules to produce a precise, crisp output. The recommended chlorine dosage in kilogram. The core outcome of this research is a fully functional web-based application that automates this calculation. User can simply input the value and the system instantly recommends the optimal chlorine dose. But how accurate is it? We test the system recommendation against the manual calculation of pool maintenance expert. The results were highly promising. First, the overall accuracy of the fuzzy Tsukamoto system in determining the correct chlorine dosage was 96.6%. Second, for predicting daily chlorine needs, the system predictions were exceptionally close to expert estimate. The average difference was only about 0.78 kg. This small margin of error demonstrates that the fuzzy Tsukamoto algorithm can provide predictions that are very close to expert judgment. In conclusion, this research successfully demonstrates that the fuzzy Tsukamoto method is not just theoretic concept, but highly reliable and accurate tool for real-world application. This system provides a scientific, data-driven approach to water quality management. It helps reduce chemical waste, ensure consistent water safety, and support the efficient operation of swimming pool facility. By leveraging this intelligent system, we can better assist in managing pool water quality, making it dependable tool for the industry. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Fikri Hidayatullah with student ID G1A019091, and in this video I will be explaining my research project titled Implementation of the Ear Clipping Algorithm and Finite State Machine on an Android-based puzzle game. My supervisor is Andang Wijarnarko Eskom Mkom, and my co-supervisor is Insinyur Nurul Renaning Tias STMkom. This project was developed as part of informatics study at the University of Bengkulu. Today, I will briefly guide you through the key part of the poster, starting from the background, objectives, benefits, development, method, result, and ending with the overall conclusion of the study. At the first, we will talk about background of this research. Puzzle games are often used as therapeutic tool to help dementia patients because they stimulate visual and motor coordination while improving reasoning and alertness. Based on this idea, the study focused on applying the ear clipping algorithm to generate the first puzzle shapes and the finite state machine or FSM to control the behavior of interactive game agent. The goal is to create a puzzle experience that is both engaging and suitable for adults aged 40 to 59 years old. About objectives, this project has two main objectives. First, to apply the ear clipping algorithm to create varied puzzle piece shape. Second, to use the finite state machine to generate an interactive mascot or game agent that responds based on player action. The combination of these two components aim to create a puzzle game that is enjoyable and appropriate for the target age group. The expected benefits include providing puzzle piece with unique shapes, an interactive game character with varied response, and an overall gameplay experience that supports cognitive stimulation for users between age of 40 to 59 years old. Now we go to development method. The development process follows 5 main stages: concept, design, material collecting, assembly, testing, and validation. Each stage ensures that both the puzzle generated and the agent behavior work smoothly and consistently. About the result, testing was conducted in two phases, alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing confirmed that ear clipping algorithm successfully manipulate polygon shapes into puzzle pieces, while FSM effectively control the mascot behavior to interact with player. For beta testing, 30 respondents aged 40 to 59 were selected using random sampling. The user acceptance test achieved a score of 82.33%, showing that the game is well received and appropriate for the target player. So, in conclusion, the study successfully implemented the ear clipping algorithm to generate varied puzzle pieces and the finite state machine to manage an interactive game agent. Both algorithms work effectively based on testing results. With an acceptance score of over 82%, the game is considered suitable not only for entertainment but also as cognitive stimulation tool for adults aged 40 to 59, potentially contributing to dementia prevention effort. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this explanation helped you to understand the research. If you have any question or need further clarification, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, in this video let me introduce myself. My name is Zaki Pesalari with student number G1A02003 and my supervisor who helped me in developing this thesis is Mrs. Ari Fatresia and Mrs. Niska Ramadhani. The title of my thesis is Code Mapping Classification with Deep Learning Vision Transformer Technique. The next video explain to the video. Given Indonesian tropical climate and high humidity and rainfall, particularly in Bengkulu and Sumatra, cloud mapping is crucial for geographical accurate data collection. Therefore, cloud mapping based on the deep learning vision transformer is needed, as previously traditional statistical techniques were used. The objective of this research is to create a cloud mapping model and a pattern library for cloud mapping. By using tools in the form of Sentinel Stylus in Google or Engine to take data in the form of image of cloud cover areas, and work tools such as Google Colab for data processing before being trained by the cloud mapping model. The following image data can be seen in this video, which was taken from Google Earth Engine. Here are the results of my research from the pre-processing. Cloud mapping model development, and model evaluation, as well as the result of model trials by removing clouds on the Bengkulu region map each year. And finally, the conclusion. In this conclusion, I got to result in this thesis, namely a model with 19% accuracy and a mean IOU of 73% and a library as a framework for using the model, and running the model on Google Colab as a young step to develop the next model. Thank you for watching this my video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Habibi with student ID G1A02011. In this video, I will briefly present my research entitled Student Discussion Form Assessment System on the e-learning based on the BERT model, a case study of the Informatic and Information System Study programs. This research was supervised by Dr. Endina Putri Purwandari, ST MCom, as my primary supervisor, and Lydia Octoberta, STMN, as my co-supervisor. In the next few minutes, I will explain about my research.
In online learning environments, discussion forums are essential for evaluating students' understanding and engagement. However, manual assessment of these discussions often becomes subjective, inconsistent, and time-consuming. To address this issue, my research focused on developing an automated assessment system using the BERT model, or bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. BERT is well known for its ability to analyze textual context with high accuracy. The study was conducted in several key stages. First, a needs analysis was performed to identify the criteria instructors use in evaluating forum discussions. Next, the overall system design was developed, outlining how students' posts would be processed and scored. The core of the research involved fine-tuning the BERT model using a dataset of forum posts that had been manually evaluated. This allowed the system to learn how to assess contributions based on relevance, clarity, and depth of content. Finally, the system performance was evaluated by comparing automated results with manual assessment. The findings show that the BERT-based system provides faster and more consistent evaluations than traditional manual grading. It supports instructors by reducing workload and offers students more objective and constructive feedback. This research also contributes to the advance of NLP-based assessment tools in education, demonstrating the potential for AI to assist in evaluating various text-based academic tasks. Overall, this study presents a step forward in improving the accuracy and efficiency of online discussion assessment, helping enhance the quality of learning in digital environment.
Thank you for watching this video.
Hello everyone, my name is Akmal Tusli Kinanti. My student identity number is G180200056. I'm from Informatics Study Program, Faculty of Engineering, University of Bengkulu. Here, I'd like to present my thesis, and the title is Decision Super System for Determining AKM Superior Product Priorities at the Department of Industry and Trade of Bengkulu Province, based on website using Mura method. With the main supervisor, Ma'am Desi Andreswari, STMCS, and the co-supervisor is Ma'am Julia Purnamasari, STMCom.
Bengkulu Province is home to a rich variety of superior products developed by local small and medium industries. These products, ranging from culinary specialties to traditional crafts, carry cultural value, economic potential, and strong local identity. However, the process of determining which products should be prioritized as regional superior product is still carried out manually by the Department of Industry and Trade of Bengkulu Province. Data processing using Excel takes a long time because increasingly ineffective as the data grows and often leads to inconsistencies or human errors. With the increasing need for accurate, fast, and objective decision making, a more advanced and reliable system is required. A web-based decision super system integrated with a powerful multi-criteria decision-making method can help the government determine priority products that truly deserve development support. The MORA method is chosen because it can process many criteria simultaneously, reduce subjective, and produce clear and measurable ranking results. The problem statement is, how can we base a decision super system using the MORA method be designed and implemented to generate accurate priority rankings of superior AKM products for the Department of Industry and Trade of Bengkulu Province? Purpose of the study. This research aims to design and develop a web-based decision super system that applies the MORA method to assist the government in assessing, calculating, and ranking AKM superior products in an objective, transparent, and efficient manner. The result of this research showed that the system successfully managed AKM data, criteria, and subcriteria, and automatically produce ranking outcomes based on 8
main criteria and 37 sub-criteria provided by the Sperinda. Through black box and whiteboard testing, the system was proven to function correctly according to user expectation. It improves data processing speed, minimize human error, and support more transparent decision-making. The system offers significant benefits for the provincial government, helping optimize the identification and development of superior AKM products and supporting long-term economic growth for Bengkulu province.
I think it's enough for my presentation. Thanks for your attention. See you next time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nanda Nabila Putri with student ID number G1A021001. I will present my thesis title, Spatial Temporal Analysis to Identify Patterns of Drug Abuse Case Distribution in Bengkulu Province. With my main supervisor, Engineer Ari Patresia, STMTI PhD IPP, and my co-supervisor, Engineer Kurnia Angriani, STMT PhD.
Drug abuse is considered an extraordinary crime with complex spatial and temporal dynamics. Bengkulu Province has recorded thousands of drug-related cases in recent years. However, these cases are often analyzed only from statistical or administrative perspective, without considering spatial distribution patterns. Therefore, the study used geographic information system and spatial temporal analysis to reveal deeper insight into how drug abuse spread in various regions. This research applies the CRISP-DM framework and uses emerging hotspot analysis. In ARGIS, the dataset consists of 2,290 drug abuse cases from 2019 to 2023, including the geographic coordinates of each incident. A space-time cube was created to combine spatial and temporal dimension, followed by hotspot detection to identify areas with significant trends. Additionally, a decision tree model was implemented to examine the influence of supporting variables such as gas station, road access, residential density, education access, and commercial areas. The analysis identified 440 hotspot patterns categorized into new, consecutive, intensifying, persistent, and sporadic hotspots. Several important findings emerged from this study. First, intensifying hotspots show a positive correlation with the presence of gas stations, indicating high mobility areas that might facilitate drug circulation. Second, persistent hotspots were associated with good access to education, suggesting that certain social environments may influence long-term case concentration. Third, consecutive hotspots were influenced by residential density, meaning that crowded areas tend to experience repeat drug-related incidents. The decision tree model predicted an accuracy of 81.4%, showing strong predictive ability in identifying high-risk areas. In conclusion, the study successfully reveals spatial temporal patterns of drug abuse distribution in Bengkulu Province. The finding can support law enforcement against local government and policymakers in design more targeted and effective prevention strategies. For future research, I recommend expanding the dataset, analyzing large administrative levels, and validating the model with additional machine learning methods to improve accuracy and coverage.
Okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Sabrina Dishayani with student ID G1A021010. In this video, I will be presenting my thesis with title Implementation of the Fusion Transformer Method for Identifying Object Genus Based on Flower Image. This thesis was supervised by my main advisor, Engineer Ari Patresia, STMTI PhD IPP, and my co-advisor, Engineer Agus Sutanto, STMCom.
Bengkulu is a province in Sumatra that is known not only for its culture and history, but also for its rich natural beauty, especially its orchids. Indonesia has around 5 to 6,000 types of orchids, each with different types, color, and size. Their beauty makes orchids very popular, but this large variety also makes them difficulty to identify, especially for beginners. Because of this problem, we need a solution that can help identify orchids more quickly and accurately. In my research, I used the Vision Transformer, a modern deep learning method that can understand image very well. Vision Transformer learns the overall patterns in an image, which helps it recognize and classify different orchids genera more effectively. The goal of this study is to develop an Android application for orchids identification using flower image, so the process becomes easier, faster, and more accurate for everyone. The training results show that the Vision Transformer works well in identifying orchids genera from flower image. Both FitBase and FitLarge perform well across all experiments. The best results came from FitBase 16 with 50 epoch, which reached an accuracy of 0.9861 and a loss of 0.3165. The lowest result was from FitLarge 16 with 25 epoch, which an accuracy of 0.9578 and a loss of 101138. The training also showed a clear difference in running time. FitLarge takes much longer to train because of more complex architecture and higher computational needs. Even though it can learn rich features, it requires far more research. On the other hand, FitBase 16 is more efficient and faster to train, making it a better choice when research are limited or when training speed is important. The test results show that FitBase 16 with 25 epoch delivered the best performance among all 4 experiments. This model made only 3 prediction errors, all in Dendrobium class, while every other class was identified correctly. On the other hand, FitLarge 16 with 25 epoch showed the lowest performance, producing the highest number of misclassification. All models were able to identify the Bubopilum genus perfectly, but they struggle with Dendrobium. This happens because Dendrobium has a very high variation in shape, size, and color, making it more challenging to classify accurately. This research results in an Android application that can help identify orchids genera from flower image effectively and efficiently. You can try the application by downloading it in this QR code.
That's all for me. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Fakhr Razi with the study number is G1A011016. In this video, I am pleased to present the research titled Comparative Study Vision Transformer Variant Perform for Spice Type Classification. My main advisor, Insinyur Arif Fatisja STMJ PhD IPP, and my co-advisor, Insinyur Tiara Ekapuke STMK.
In the recent years, the rapid growth of computer vision has encouraged the development of more advanced deep learning models for image classification. One of the last breakthroughs is the Vision Transformer or FIT, which introduced the transformer architecture originally used in NLP into image recognition tasks. In Indonesia, spice play an important role in culinary, cultural, and economic sectors. Yet automatic classification of spice types is still limited and often inaccurate. This motivated me to conduct a study on how different FIT variants perform when classifying Indonesian spice image. However, existing studies mostly focus on CNN-based approach and rarely compare the performance of FIT variant using the same dataset and experimental settings. This raises an important question. Which Vision Transformer variant provides the best performance for classifying spice types from images using a consistent training pipeline? Based on this, my research aims to 1. Build and evaluate multiple FIT variants, specifically FIT-based and FIT-large, using transport learning. 2. Compare their performance using the same dataset of 6,300 images across 14 Indonesian spice classes. 3. Identify which model achieves the best accuracy, precision, recall, and advanced score under equal conditions. From the experience, the FitBase model combined with the AWS optimizer achieved the best overall performance. It reached a test accuracy of 93.93% with balanced metrics across precision, recall, and advanced score, also at 93.93%. Confusion matrix analysis show that most spice classes were classified very accurately, with only a few classes such as cardamom and temulawak having slightly lower F1 scores. Comparing both variants, Fitbase consistently outperformed FI dealers under the same hyperparameter and training configuration.
I hope this short explanation helps you understand main contribution and insight of my research. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you have any question, feedback, or would like to discuss the model further, I would be happy to answer them. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm Rosalia, student ID G1802117. The title of my thesis is Visual Explanation on Modern V2 for Inorganic Waste Classification using GraphCAP with Ingenieur Ari Patricia STMT IPST IPP and Ingenieur Nororenan IPS STMCom.
Inorganic waste is part of the waste that continues to be produced in human daily activities. Among them, plastic waste remains a major challenge in management due to its widespread use and its nature that is difficult to decompose. Other types of waste, such as a plastic bottle, glass bottle, cardboard, paper, cans, and styrofoam, are also often found in everyday life, but are not always sorted properly. The situation highlights the need for a technology-based approach, particularly deployment, to assist in the automatic and more efficient identification of waste type. Based on the background, the research problem discussed in the study are as follows. How does the MobileNet V2 model perform in inorganic waste classification? And how does the application of the GraphCAM generate visual explanation in the MobileNet V2 model in inorganic waste classification? This study aims to achieve the following objective: to evaluate the performance of the MobileNet V2 model in classifying inorganic waste, and to provide visual explanation for the MobileNet V2 model in inorganic waste classification using GraphCAM. After conducting model training experiment, the following results were obtained. The accuracy and loss curves show a stable model learning process. The confusion matrix show the most prediction are correct, although some errors often occur in the glass bottle and can classes. The classification reports show precision, recall, and advanced score that are generally high, with some classes having lower metric due to visual similarity. Of the three architectural variants, setup S3 will write the best performance and was selected for implementation in GraphCAM. Next, the model prediction are visualized using GraphCAM to show which region influenced its decision. Here are examples of the true positive prediction where the model correctly identified each waste type. The highlighted areas show the regions the model used to make correct prediction. Next, here are some false positive examples where the model misclassified certain waste types. The GraphCAM and GraphCAM overlay highlight the region that led to incorrect prediction. Finally, the model was tested on new images containing 1, 2, or 3 waste objects in a single frame to evaluate its prediction performance in practical scenarios. The model successfully identified its object in most cases, demonstrating its ability to handle multiple items simultaneously. This example demonstrates the model's robustness in recognizing and classifying different types of waste in the same image. Overall, this study demonstrates how image classification models from GraphCAM can provide clearer insight in recognizing types of inorganic waste.
Thank you for watching. I hope this explanation gives a clear overview of my thesis.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rima Gatika with student ID G1802101. In this video, I will present my undergraduate thesis entitled The Performance Analysis of Transforming Using Medical Vision Transformer (MEVIV) based on mammogram image from the CBIS, DDSM, dan SR. My main supervisor is Ingenieur Ari Patricia STMI HD IPP, and my co-supervisor is Ingenieur Kunia Andriani STMT PhD.
Breast cancer is one of the most common and dangerous cancer affecting women worldwide. According to Global Cancer Observatory 2022, there were more than 2.29 million new cases globally. In Indonesia, breast cancer is also the most common cancer with more than 66,000 new cases. Mammography is the primary imaging method used for early breast cancer detection. However, manual interpretation can be limited by radiologist fatigue, subjectivity, and inconsistent readings, which may affect diagnostic accuracy. Artificial intelligence, especially deep learning, has emerged as a promising solution to support radiologists by providing faster, more consistent, and automated image analysis. Yet many existing models still struggle to match radiologists' level performance. Therefore, this study aims to evaluate the medical vision transformer or MED-VIT to determine how accurate and efficient it is in classifying mammograph image into normal, benign, and malignant categories. By analyzing its performance through transfer learning and adapter-based fine-tuning, this research seeks to assess whether MED-VIT can be a reliable tool for improving breast cancer detection. In the modeling stage, I test three fine-tuning configuration A, B, and C. Each one use different learning range, base size, and training durations to find the best setup. During pre-training, the model learned very well, loss decreased smoothly, and LC stayed consistently high. This shows strong feature learning before fine-tuning. In fine-tuning, each configuration behaved differently. A had low sensitivity, B improved recall but wasn't stable, and C was the most balanced and consistent. From the confusion matrix, configuration C separate benign and malignant the best. All setups classified the normal class perfectly. The report also shows that configuration C reached the highest precision, sensitivity, and F1 scores. Configuration C achieved the strongest overall performance and proved to be the most effective fine-tuning setup for MED-VIT. However, the model still requires further improvement, especially in distinguishing benign and malignant cases, since their visual similarities make them challenging to classify accurately.
That concludes my explanation of my research. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Rifki Afriansal with student ID G1A021023, and I will present my thesis with the title A Comparative Study on the Performance of RedDenseNet 200 Watt, ResNet 50, and VGG16 using Landsat 8 satellite imagery for forest classification, with Insinyur Arif Patricia, ST, MTI, PhD, IPP as my main supervisor, and Insinyur Kurnia Andriani, ST, MT, PhD as my co-supervisor.
Indonesia forests are important for biodiversity and carbon storage, but they remain vulnerable to deforestation caused by poor land management. This can be seen in the Buru Semidang Bukit Kabu forest in Bengkulu, which continue to lose forest cover due to illegal plantations and growing settlement. Because of this, accurate identification and mapping of forest changes are very important, making forest and non-forest classification a key task. Using remote sensing and deep learning, especially Landsat 8 imagery, helps process large amount of data more effectively. This study used transfer learning with three pre-trained models: DenseNet 201, ResNet 50, and VGG16, to find which model is most effective for classifying forest and non-forest area. For performance model, DenseNet 201 has the highest accuracy at 99.87%, followed by ResNet 50 with an accuracy of 98.03% and VGG16 with the lowest accuracy, which is 96.85%. From this table, DenseNet 201 is the most superior with validation data, most accurate and close to previous research data, followed by ResNet 50, good and stable performance, while VGG16 shows the rogue or least accurate results. DenseNet 201 is the most superior and reliable model in both data scenario, original and 4 times upscale with Circuit.
I think that's enough for my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lia Pratiwi with NPM G1A021029. Today, I will present my thesis entitled Comparative Study of Transfer Learning for Multilabel Batik Besurek Classification. This research was supervised by Insinyur Arifat Resia, STMTI PhD, IPP, as my main supervisor, and Insinyur Tiara Eka Putri, STMCom, as my co-supervisor. Batik Besurek is a cultural heritage from Bengkulu. It features visually complex and highly diverse motifs, many of which appear simultaneously within a single image. This overlapping characteristic makes manual identification difficult, especially because several motifs share similar shape and colors. The challenge becomes even greater due to the imbalance in motif frequency when the calligraphy motif dominates the dataset. Therefore, this research applied transfer learning to build a machine learning classification system capable of identifying multiple motifs within a single image. The study focused on addressing two main research questions. First, how do 9 different transfer learning architecture perform in multi-level classification of batik besurek motifs? And second, which architecture show the highest accuracy, stability, and generalization, making it the most suitable model for automated motif recognition. The objective of this research is to conduct a comparative analysis of 9 transfer learning architecture to evaluate their ability to classify multiple motifs within a single batik besurek image. This study aimed to identify the architecture with the best overall performance, measure through metrics such as AUC, A1 score, accuracy, loss, and Cohen data, and to determine the potential of transfer learning for batik motif recognition. Using a dataset of 4,114 originally image expanded to 9,474 through augmentation, the results show that DenseNet 201 consistently outperforms all other models, a final score of 0.9989 and AUC of 0.9998 with the lowest validation loss. Overall, the findings confirm that transfer learning is highly effective for multi-level batik besurek classification. That's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, I am Estias Maritayu, student ID G1A021042. Let me introduce my thesis. The title is Performance Analysis of BLSM Model of Sentiment Analysis in Bengkulu Malay Commons with Supervised Lecturer Fani Paradiko Astera, SCOM MT, and Julia Purnamasari, STMCom.
Nowadays, many occupations are beginning to utilize AI assistance. One such application is sentiment analysis. Deep learning models, such as BLSTM, have been widely used by researchers to streamline the analysis process, given the enormous amount of data generated, known as big data. However, its application is still limited to major languages, such as English, Chinese, Bengali, and Indonesian. Meanwhile, regional languages in Indonesia have not been explored much. One of them is the Bengkulu Malay language, which is the language of the indigenous people of Bengkulu City, Bengkulu Province. Therefore, This research focused on developing a sentiment analysis model using BLSTM in the Bengkulu Malay language. The problem identified are as follows: how to build a BLSTM model for sentiment analysis on a dataset of comments in the Bengkulu Malay language. How well does the BLSTM model perform in conducting sentiment analysis on the dataset of comments in the Bengkulu Malay language? The objectives are as follows. First, to build a BLSTM model for sentiment analysis on the dataset of comments in the Bengkulu Malay language. Second, to determine and evaluate the performance of BLSTM model in performing sentiment analysis on the dataset of comments in the Bengkulu Malay language. The results of this study shows that the model is capable to achieving 91 accuracy on the Key 1 dataset, 85 on the Key 2 dataset, and 70 on the Key 3 dataset. We then used this model to design a sentiment analysis system for the Bengkulu Malay language in the form of a simple website. The interface appears as follows. This website can be accessed and used by the general public, particularly the people of Bengkulu, to conduct sentiment analysis in a more concise and efficient manner.
That's all about my thesis. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Amrul Dimas Oswandi with student number ID G1A021043 with my main advisor Fani Faradi Kwastera SKMT and co-advisor Andre Lansari STMN from the Department of Informatics. In this video, I'm going to present my final project entitled Comparison of the Effects of the Number of Cloudlets and Virtual Machine on Scheduling Efficiency Inclusive using N-colony Optimization and Genetic Algorithm. This research focused on analyzing and comparing two intelligent optimization algorithms that are commonly used in cloud computing task scheduling, the N-colony optimization and the genetic algorithm, within a cloud sim simulation environment.
Over the past few decades, cloud computing has become one of the most influential technologies in the IT industry. It provides convenient, flexible, and on-demand access to shared computing resources such as servers, storage, and applications that can be configured and managed through the internet. In a cloud environment, millions of virtual machines operate simultaneously, providing an illusion of unlimited computing resources. These virtual machines are dynamically created, scaled, and managed through virtualization technology. And this process is known as task scheduling, and it plays a crucial role in ensuring that computing resources are utilized efficiently. Inefficient scheduling can lead to longer execution time, unbalanced workloads, and overall poor performance. Based on this condition, several research questions were formulated in this study. 1. How do variation in the number of cloudlets and virtual machines affect task scheduling efficiency in Cloud SIM when using N-colony optimization and genetic algorithm? 2. How does the performance of N-colony optimization compare to genetic algorithm based on three main metrics: maxspan, throughput, and degree of imbalance? 3. Which of the two algorithms performs better overall when the number of cloudlets and virtual machines varies? To answer this question, the objectives of this research are as follows. 1. To analyze the impact of varying the number of cloudlets and virtual machines on scheduling efficiency in Cloud SIM using both N-colony optimization and genetic algorithm. 2. To compare the performance of both algorithms based on maxspan, throughput, and degree of imbalance. 3. To determine which algorithm performs better and provides higher scheduling efficiency under different workload conditions. The analysis and experiments were conducted using the Cloud SIM Simulation Toolkit, which allows researchers to model and test various cloud computing scenarios before applying them to the real system. Let us now move to the result
Alright, from the first section is the maxband metric. The result from multiple test scenarios show that the genetic algorithm consistently achieves a lower maxband compared to the n-colony optimization algorithm. A lower maxband means that all tasks are completed in a shorter total time, which reflects higher efficiency. And the second is throughput. For the throughput metric, the n-colony optimization algorithm slightly outperforms the genetic algorithm with a performance ratio of 6:4 in favor of n-colony optimization. This means that in several scenarios, n-colony optimization was able to complete a greater number of tasks within a given time frame. Next, the third is degree of imbalance. Finally, when evaluating the degree of imbalance, the genetic algorithm again shows stronger and more consistent results. Based on time variation of virtual machine configuration, genetic algorithm outperform n-colony optimization in most cases, especially between 10 to 70 virtual machines, while both algorithms perform equally at 80 and 100 virtual machines.
Thank you very much for watching my presentation. I hope my research can inspire further exploration into intelligent optimization algorithm for cloud computing. Once again, I'm Amar Dimas Aswandi from the Department of Informatics. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.
Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zabrila Hamdana Zadia Putri with student identification number G1A0211053. In this time, I will explain about my research. The title is a comparative study of performance of deep learning architecture Inception V3 exception under SNET 201 with example technique for classifying marginal leaf images. With my main supervisor, Ibu Insinyur Arif Patresia, STMT PhD IPP, and my assistant supervisor, Ibu Kurnia Andriani, ST MT PhD.
Indonesia has a large level of biodiversity with more than 30,000 plant species and about 6,000 to 7,000 classified as medicinal plants. Leaves are the most commonly used part of medicinal plants, playing a vital role in photosynthesis and offering various health benefits. Medicinal plants are essential, especially for communities with limited access to healthcare services. They are used to treat mild symptoms and maintain overall health naturally. The use of medicinal plants is not yet optimal because people often struggle to distinguish between similar-looking leaves. Misidentification can lead to serious or even fatal consequences. Conventional identification relies on experts and manual observation, making it time-consuming, inefficient, and prone to error. An automated identification system is needed to classify medicinal plants leaves quickly, accurately, and efficiently. This can be achieved through image processing techniques based on leaf images. Deep learning, particularly convolutional neural network (CNN), can automatically learn important features for images through convolution process. CNN has proven effective in object recognition image classification tasks. Problem statement: how to collect and process dataset that will be used in the classification of medicinal leaves, how to build transfer learning architecture, Inception V3 exception, and DASET 201 with ensemble techniques for the classification of medicinal leaves, how to evaluate the performance of the weighted average ensemble model to produce the most accurate model for classifying types of medicinal leaf. The result accuracy testing model single transfer learning based model DASET 201 with Adam optimizer epoch 50, Inception V3 and MSPOC with epoch 50, and exception Adam epoch 50. Evaluation on weighted average ensemble, all model combination achieve very high accuracy around 100% on test data 1. On test data 2, Inception V3 and Inception achieve the lowest accuracy of 86%. Exception and DASET 201 achieve 91%. DASET 201 Inception achieve 88%. The best performance was achieved by the combination of Inception V3 exception and DASET 201 with an accuracy 92%. Conclusion: a dataset containing 10 types of medicinal plant leaf with total of 10,000 images was used in the study. 8,000 trains, 1,000 validation, and 1,000 tests. The experimental results show that the SNET 201 exception achieved the best performance with the Abdan optimizer, while Inception V3 was optimal with NMS Prop, each at 50 epoch. For weighted average ensemble combination was tested, and the best performance was obtained from the combination of Inception V3 exception DASET 201, which achieved 100% accuracy on first test dataset and 92% on the second test data. The combination of exception and DASET 201 also show high results with an accuracy of 100% and 91% on both test data.
Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Mira Juwita Ali with ID student G1A0210056. Today I
I will present my thesis with title Implementation of Bidirectional Long Short-Term Memory for Artificial Intelligence Sentence Classification with Word-to-Fact, GloVe, and Fast-Text Embeddings, with Insinyur Arif Patresia, ST, MTI, PhD, IPT as my supervisor, and Insinyur Kurnia Angriani, ST, MT, PhD as my co-supervisor.
The rapid advancement of artificial intelligence has made AI generate text increasingly difficult to distinguish from human writing. These create risks such as misinformation, fake product reviews, and other forms of misuse. Most existing research on AI text detection still focuses on the English language. In this study, I developed a classification model that can differentiate between AI-generated and human-written sentences in Indonesia. I use a bidirectional long short-term memory or BLSTM model combined with 3 word embedding techniques, Word-to-Fact, GloVe, and Fast-Text. Now, moving on to the results. The evaluation was carried out in 3 stages: training, validation, and test data. Each combination of batch size and epoch was compared to observe its impact on the model's accuracy. The results of the testing are presented in these 3 tables. The BLSTM model using Fast-Text KeepGram with a batch size of 256 and 10 training epoch produced the most stable performance. It achieved a training accuracy of 0.952, a validation accuracy of 0.964, and a test accuracy of 0.718. The evaluation of the BLSTM model using the Fast-Text KeepGram word embedding based on the confusion matrix as shown in the table is still not optimal, with a precision of 0.73, a recall of 0.67, and an F1 score of 0.65. However, the model still misclassifies some sentences outside the dataset. This happens because human-written sentences sometimes have writing patterns similar to AI-generated text, especially when the sentence comes from news articles that tend to use common and predictable vocabulary.
I hope my explanation gives a good information. Thank you for watching and see you.
Hello, my name is Shikira Zara with study number G1A 021057. My supervisor, Mr. Kurnia Angriani and Mr. Agus Susanto. My examiner is Arif Patresia and Pani Faradi Bastera. My research is application assembly learning at malware detection in IoT 23 dataset.
The Internet of Things has become one of the most influential technological innovations in the last few decades. With the ability to connect various physical devices on the IoT network. Previous research that detect malware on IoT networks was conducted by Stoyan 2020, who detect malware on IoT 23 network using machine learning. The final result of this study is that random forest algorithm has the highest accuracy rate of 99.5%. The random forest algorithm has a good performance on large amount of data but has the disadvantage of being a model. Namely, it is less efficient for very rare data. This study also found the accuracy of naive Bayes has low performance in the accuracy of the F1 score matrix. Therefore, this study aimed to see whether the accuracy low performance algorithms such as naive Bayes can be improved by combining it with other algorithms in detect malware on IoT network. The purpose of this research is to explain and analyze the application of assembly learning techniques in malware detection. The application of assembly learning has been proven to be able to improve the performance of individual models that previously held low accuracy. For example, naik bayis individual only produce an accuracy 0.24, but increase to 0.35 when assembled with ADBoost, and jumps to 0.99 when assembled with XGBoost. The ADBoost model itself obtains accuracy 0.62 individually, decrease when combined with naik bayis to 0.35, but increase to 0.99 when combined with XGBoost. Meanwhile, XGBoost consistently show high accuracy 0.929, both individual and when combined with other models. The assemble of the three models gave a final accuracy of 0.929.
That's all my video about my research. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Iqbal with student ID number G1A021073. In this video, I will be presenting my thesis, Implementation of Object Detection for Fish Classification using Faster RCNN Algorithm. This thesis was supervised by my advisor, Engineer Ari Patresia, ST MTI PhD IPP, and my co-advisor, Engineer Tiara Eka Putri, ST MCOM.
Indonesia is known as an archipelago with vast marine resources. Located in the tropics, Indonesia has an abundance of fish species. However, identifying fish in the field is often difficult. The difficulty arises because many fish species look similar to one another, compounded by the limited number of experts. Therefore, an automated system is needed to assist with identification without having to consult an expert directly. With advances in artificial intelligence, particularly machine learning and deep learning, object and image can now be recognized automatically. One of the most powerful methods for object detection is Faster RCNN. How to implement Faster RCNN to detect and classify fish species? How does the resulting model perform? First, I collected a dataset of fish images and annotated them with bounding box and class label. The dataset was divided into training, validation, and test data. A pre-trained Faster RCNN model was used and its output was adjusted for 10 fish class. The training process was carried out with data augmentation and evaluation using the MAP metric at IOU threshold 0.5. After the model was trained, the system was tested to detect fish species in new image. The results were excellent. With testing on 10 types of fish, the model achieved 91.3% MAP on 3,000 data points, 91.8% MAP on 5,000 data points, and 82.56% MAP on 7,000 data points. They show that Faster RCNN is very effective for fish detection and classification. Overall, this study shows that Faster RCNN is a powerful and reliable solution for automatically detection and classifying fish species. With its high accuracy and ability to detect objects in various image conditions, this model can be a very useful tool for research, fisheries official, and field monitoring process. These results also open up opportunities for further development, such as integration into mobile application, fisheries monitoring system, or the use of larger dataset to make model more robust.
Okay guys, that's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Fajar Al-Jaswandi with NPM G1A0210Axis. In this video, I will present the background, problem statement, research objective, result, and system demonstration of my thesis project titled IoT-based real-time monitoring and prediction system for water pH, temperature, and total dissolved solids in common crab capillus aquaculture.
Indonesia is one of the world's largest pelagic countries and possesses substantial fisheries potential. Aquaculture in Indonesia has shown rapid growth in recent years, with aquaculture production reaching 17 million tons in 2024. Water quality is one of the most critical factors in the success of aquaculture. Three main parameters, pH, water temperature, and total dissolved solids, play a major role in determining fish health and growth. Common crab, Capillus scorpio, are highly sensitive to sudden change in these parameters, and unstable water conditions can lead to stress, slow growth, and even mortality. In many fish farms, water quality monitoring is still done manually, which makes it difficult for farmers to detect sudden change in real time. With advances in technology, Internet of Things and machine learning, it is now possible to build a system that performs real-time monitoring and predict future change in water quality. Such a system can help farmers take early action before dangerous conditions occur. Based on the background, this research focuses on two main questions. Number one, how can we design and build an IoT system capable of monitoring and prediction pH, temperature, and TDS in common crab pond in real time? Number two, how can an Android application effectively display real-time monitoring data and prediction results to users? Banyu WaterGuard is a water quality monitoring system that uses an ESP32 Android application as user interface and LSTM model for water quality prediction. Banyu is equipped with multiple features, including real-time data monitoring, 3 hours predictive forecasting, historical data visualization, multi-device monitoring, smart Wi-Fi provision for the microcontroller, parameter alert notification, and support for language switching and dark mode. The system was deployed in Mr. Rahmat Galatama Pond in 3 days and successfully generated 1079 data points for each parameter. The application was able to display real-time monitoring data and present prediction output progress by the model. This capability to support fish farmers in maintaining optimal water quality.
The system successfully performs real-time monitoring and prediction of water quality in common crab ponds. With IoT technology, asset precision, and a mobile application, the system provides a practical and efficient solution for supporting aquaculture productivity. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, my name is Jiwan Atila Ilham. I am student at Bengkulu University. In the process of writing the thesis, I was supervised by 2 advisors. Named Mr. Desi Andreswari, STMCS, as the first advisor, and Mr. Widya Oktoberza, STMA, as the second advisor. The title of my thesis is Implementation Action in the Centrifugator Method in an Expert System for Early Detection of Mental Discord in Advisor and Mapping of Screening Psychology Service location in Bengkulu City based on Android.
Background of the problem. Number 1. The high and increasing number of mental health discord in a double scan. More than 5% of mental discord apparent during a double scans. Data from INAMHS 2021 show that 1 in 3 Indonesian a double scan experiment mental health problem is less common. Discord experiment are externality discord 37%, major depression 10%, PTSD, ADHD solution experiment system with certainty factor and service mapping Android-based Clinician expert system using the certainty factor method to detect mental discord early and provide accurate information that can help adolescents understand their condition, mapping the location of clinic psychology service make easier for adults to find the nearest professional mental health service to further assistance. Problem formulation. Based on the background discussed above, the problem can formulate as follows. Number 1. How to build an Android-based express to perform early detection of mental discord in a double scan and locate clinic psychology service in Bengkulu City. Number 2. How to apply the certainty factor method to improve the accuracy and efficiency of detection in Android-based express system and locate clinic psychology service in Bengkulu City. Research objective number 1. To development application that enables adults to independent contract early detection of mental discord and depression level before visiting a specialist. This application also aims interested adolescents awareness and understanding of mental discord with understanding the result of this application are only primary indication that still require further examination by a psychologist and provide information on the location of clinic psychology service in Bengkulu City. Number 2. Designing and building an express system-based application capable of early detection of mental discord in double scans by ASIN. Research result. The result of the study show that this Android-based express system has been successful development and capable of early detection of mental discord in adult. The system has been integrated with a database to store, respond and diagnosis result and is designed with a user-friendly interface, especially for adult scans based on validation testing using the black box method at feature the system working properly and have activity at success rate.
In conclusion, the system successfully performed early detection of mental discord in Enskasland using the certainty factor method and reversal mapping of clinic psychology service in Bengkulu City. Thank you for watching.